Hey, this is EZ from my latest sponsor, ExpressVPN. You know, Netflix has different content available to users depending on where they're located. Netflix has thousands of shows, but you can only get access to a fraction of that because of where you are. If you're utilizing Netflix without using ExpressVPN, it's like paying for a gym membership, but only being able to use the treadmill. So, how does this work? ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. They have almost 100 different server locations, so you can gain access to thousands of new shows. I'm talking like Star Trek, the original series on UK Netflix, Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Canadian Netflix, Rick and Morty on French Netflix, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on Indian Netflix, the Harry Potter movie series on Australian Netflix. The list goes on and on. In the EZ household, we utilize ExpressVPN, and we've unlocked so much content that my family and myself can enjoy. But then you might be like, Eric, we can use other VPNs. No. Listen, blazing fast speeds, stream in HD with zero buffering, compatible with all of your devices, phones, laptops, media consoles, smart TVs, and more. And it encrypts your data. ExpressVPN has the added benefit of encrypting your data so you can browse the web securely. Look, be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/Zane. Don't forget to use my link at expressvpn.com/Zane to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Hello, my friends. How are you all? It is great to be back with you on the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures on a Big Fraud Thursday. You're like, what is a Big Fraud Thursday? Well, this goes back. Our pal Trump referred to me as Big Fraud Eric Zane. So now a lot of the things that I do are fraudulent. It's kind of like a running gag, I think. Unless y'all really think I'm a fraud. You'd probably do. I don't blame you. Big fraud any day of the week. Typically, it's a Big Fraud Thursday, sometimes a Friday, sometimes a Saturday. That is where the fraudulent activity, not only is it during the daytime, it's in the evening. On a Big Fraud Thursday like today, you start out with the free podcast like we're doing right now, where we kick it around for a couple hours. Then we head on over to Patreon. Soon thereafter, also during the day. Then we head to the evening, and you have special shows on Patreon. Patreon only. Today, the first episode ever, with many more to come, of Who Are These Steve and Kyles? Steve McKiernan and Kyle Paffhausen together for a rip-roaring romp through boredom and fucking craziness and stupidity and maddening, mind-numbing conversation. Two very different types of dynamics when you're clipping Steve and Kyle and Free Beer and Hot Wings. Free Beer and Hot Wings, there's so much going on that it's and you, like I've said before, you can listen to one segment and pull out 15 clips. Much different with Steve and Kyle. They have these long, drawn-out conversations that I struggle to describe the dynamic. They're comfortable with the pointlessness, the boredom, and the stupidity to a point where I think they have convinced themselves that it is acceptable and listenable. It's horrid. Okay? And you have to kind of go through and lift out huge swaths of material. And all you really do is, it sounds like shit, but you're just kind of scratching your head and you're like, God, I feel like I'm being overwhelmed here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Jeremy writes, EZ, did you listen to the file I sent this morning? I know what you're talking about because I heard it because I was reviewing too. And he is, he's not talking about Stephen Kyle. I think this is a free beer and hot wings, which it's kind of like right up our alley. So I'm gonna mention it here. I'm not gonna play it. You're right. It would be too much. Stand by. And I am going to get to the update of the Kent Trails asshole and him getting busted. So don't think that I'm not going to talk about it. EZ, this clip is a bit too long to use as any sort of clips for Who Are These Free Beers. It's almost 5 minutes long, but I feel like you need to hear it. Our heroes were talking about returning shopping carts for a couple of minutes. They shifted to a different topic and then came back to it for another 2 minutes. I mashed them both together for your listening pleasure. I actually heard that. And I didn't think it was as dull as some of the things that I've heard before. It had a clear beginning, middle, and end. And I'll be honest with you. I listened to it and nothing jumped out at me as clippable. But maybe that's just me. Maybe my heart is softening, perhaps. He then says also, I wanted to float an idea. Since Ben has said he's willing to do the Patreon content while you're away, I was wondering if he'd be interested in doing a special Who Are These Free Beers that same day. I think Ben and I will be able to make the show interesting enough to listen to. If that's not something you're interested in, I completely understand. You don't need to explain yourself. Just say you're not interested. Well, I am interested. And the only thing that's holding me back is kind of like when a person is a control freak and like, let's say, Doug over at Bosco's with his OCD. If I'm making French fries a particular way, he might come walking up to me and tell me, oh, no, you got to do it this way. And he has a hard time letting go. Ultimately, the French fries are going to be made perfectly. But he starts to micromanage me. He can't let it go. I'm a little bit that way about this. But I need to just say, fuck it. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how I feel. All that matters is whether or not the people that are watching it will get some type of enjoyment out of it. And it doesn't matter how that enjoyment takes place. It could be Ben sitting there and he shits his pants or falls out of his chair or something like that. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. But I have learned this much in 5 years and nearly 6 months of doing this. When in doubt, do it. When in doubt, make it happen. So I'll just tell you right now that I'm going to give Ben the keys and I'm going to, I'll talk him through as best as I can. But like I said, we have time. We've got 20 days, 20 plus days to prepare for this. So the idea of a Ben and Amanda Patreon podcast. This is that right there. The Ben and Amanda Patreon podcast is the push that Amanda needs because there's a lot coming at her. like I've talked about this before. If she's not worried about how to publish it, how this sounds, how to edit it, how to, all the boring, busy work to get it off the ground. If she literally is just, you know how she joins us for the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast on the Zoom? If all she has to do is just turn on her computer, adjust the camera for her giant titties, and do her thing, well, that is the most fertile environment she's going to get. She will be more comfortable presenting than Ben will. Because, well, as we all know, Ben's retardation prevents him from being comfortable in any environment whatsoever. So I'm excited about that. This might be just what the doctor ordered for her. My apologies to you yesterday for referring to you as Andrea. Your boobies are much nicer. And they can't be called boobies because they're so massive. You're gazongas. Listen to this dialogue between me and Amanda yesterday. 3:27 p.m. I like how you describe my boobs. Like you've seen them, dumbass. I wrote, oh, yeah, it's impossible to tell that they each weigh 5,000 pounds. My first clue, I look at them, and they look like they weigh 5,000 pounds, idiot. She wrote, it's so deceptive. So, all right. I don't want to ever, while I'm doing this show, seem like I'm so uptight that I wouldn't be receptive to something new. I am. So what this is shaping up for is a time that I'm away, and Wednesday, June 26th, is my last day of podcasting. Until Monday, July 8th. In that time, you will get 7 on Patreon, something to listen to while I'm away shows, which will feature the sweater beat up, Dude Chataway interviewing Jordan Knight, and my dad on his 76th birthday, 14 years ago, more than. On the free platform, you will be getting hours and hours of previously never heard except by Patreon members, Patreon shows published for you on the free platform. So when I do take time off, I don't want your ears going anywhere else. In addition, the 2 shows that we just talked about with the Ben and Amanda show. And I guess who I'm starting to think, who are these freebiers? Ben and Jeremy edition. Hybrid edition. Now, let us talk about the Kent Trails asshole. Let's back up. As the day progressed yesterday, I was made aware of the dad who was walking along Kent Trails with a child who's 2 or 3 months old, and one that's 2 and one that's 3. So dad has his hands full. And on Sunday, he was walking along Kent Trails, and the 3-year-old was kind of dilly-dallying on the trail, and this guy on a bike came by and said, "Get the fuck out of the way, you little fuck," or whatever, was screaming at him. And then dad here was with his pal, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck, man? Jesus Christ." And so dad picked up the kid and was holding him like up high, and dude gets off of his bike and slaps dad in the head, and he slapped him so hard that dad's head hit little guy's head. So little kid's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. And he starts crying. So dad puts the kid down, and then the buddy of dad starts recording. This is that moment. This is from Dad's Facebook page. This is really a triggering thing. People people's blood is boiling about this. You know, when I showed it yesterday, people were so pissed off. My God. But this is Dad.
Damaging my child. No, you're damaging your child leaving in the middle of the goddamn trail. Go now.
Oh, you look at little guy there. He's like walking behind his dad. He's got his little backpack. Oh. And then he's kind of like walking behind his dad because he's terrified.
You're the adult now. Get out of here. You're the adult now. Yes, I am. You're the adult now. Roll the fuck up. You're the adult now. It's okay, buddy. He's a real big jerk. Why'd you put him on a leash like a dog? Dude, get the fuck out of here. Why'd you put him on a leash? You mother... It's okay, buddy.
I think we can all agree that the entire world hates this guy. The whole world. This is such a one-sided affair. So I posted it to Facebook, and we featured that dude on TikTok who I guess is really prominent and who that's his thing. The guy with the beard and the long hair. He likes to show these and like, hey, you know, let's find out who this person is who's a real asshole. And I guess that's super big because that guy is really well known. And then I noticed that someone on my post said that Dad's better half, Mrs. Dad, she posted that the cops are involved and or something like that. And I said, hey, I don't even know who this person is. Can you point me in the right direction? And someone did. So then I found this guy's Facebook page and I figured out who Mrs. Dad is. And I reached out to her. We had a nice conversation. And I think they're pretty guarded because well, this is how it went. Hello, her name is Tara. My name is Eric Zane from the Eric Zane Show podcast. I live in Hudsonville. Is there any way I can put Mitchell on my podcast? We've been following the story and are so glad that the police are involved. And I honestly didn't think that I would hear back. You know, I mean, because it's just fucking weird. Here these people are. All they want to do, all that guy wanted to do was take a walk with his buddy and his kids. And now this. And I think that might have been part of the reason why he was reluctant to, you know, post about it in the first place because, you know, there's a lot of information that is thrown at you and it's stressful. People just want to fucking live. But I'm really glad that this guy, Dad here, posted about it. She said, hello, Eric. I think we would be open to that, even though all the attention right now is making him extremely uncomfortable. And that's the other thing. Stress is not great. And I said, well, I can record anything anytime you guys want. I would just send you a Zoom link. You could be looking at me and I'd be looking at you. And you could be sitting next to each other. Is that okay? It would be the easiest thing you do all day. I'm so sorry that you guys had such a rotten experience the other day. And she said, what's the goal? Like, what are you thinking we would talk about? I wasn't there when it happened. I was actually enjoying my first time away since having our second watching Wicked downtown, and the dads had the kids. So I came home to cops at my house. That was great. He was with my friend's husband, Austin. I said, honestly, because, she asked that question, what's the goal? And the goal is just to talk about it because everyone's interested. That's really the goal. And I told her that. I said, well, honestly, it's such a gigantic story. I just thought that people would be interested. I just know a ton of people were pulling for you like the whole world, and nobody likes that jerk that did that to your husband, and there would be a tremendous amount of interest in talking to you guys about it. We could even record it, and if you didn't like how it sounded or felt, then I wouldn't publish it. And she gave me the little heart sign, but I'm not going to, like, I don't want to seem like it's so important that I double back and beg and shit like that. I don't want to do that because this is fucked up. Ultimately, though, what I'm most interested in is finding out more about this guy that did this. Because if we find out, and I think they know, in fact, I know they know, but I think they're doing the right thing by laying low. They could very easily just say, hey, here he is, get him, and that guy's fucked, okay? But they are working with the police right now, this family. So I think that doing it that way, now eventually it is going to be revealed who this guy is. And then hell hath no fury, motherfucker. This guy is going to be fucked. But let us back up. Okay? Because on the actual post that I just showed you, there's a lot of shares, and that video has been viewed literally thousands of times. It's been viewed thousands of times and shared many, many times. Like there was one lady on the comments who said, tell me who this is, and then wrote, I am going to make this person unliving. I don't want to say it because sometimes like they get pissed off about that on the platforms. Dawn wrote, I bet he's going to regret his decision once he's charged with assault. Like these are all friends and family of this family. And they reveal in one of these that the cops are talking to the guy. Tizzy is the name of the TikToker, by the way, who covers this shit. Mrs. Dad writes, thank you for all of your concerns and help in spreading the word. The community's support has been unreal. He has been identified, and the police are working through the case. Okay. So that's really it right now. And for once, this is, typically if something like this happens, the world knows who the bad guy is before the cops have a chance to even do anything. And then the shit hits the fan, guy gets fired, wife leaves him, kids disown him, all that shit. But this one, for some reason, I don't think it's going that way, which is really kind of interesting. However, remember I said that the internet giveth, the internet taketh away, and internet sleuths are very, very powerful. Also included in the comments of that post from Dad, another person, don't know the relation to the original poster, which is Dad who got smacked with the kids, but a person posted a video and they said, is this him? And there's a video of a guy riding down the street. And it is. Mom says, yes. Mitch just looked at it and said, that is him, and that is his bike, too. Let's watch that. That's crazy to me that from the time, this was posted on Sunday by Dad, and 2 days ago, that would have been on Tuesday, someone had video of him in the wild pedaling his fat fucking ass through the streets. Wow. I guess that goes to show you that if you piss off enough people, they're watching you. I mean, who's to say that? I mean, it's not impossible to have someone who's very sympathetic to dad, but batshit crazy, to go all Bernie Getz on that motherfucker. None of you get that reference. You're all too young. You would only get that reference if you're 55 and older. If you get the Bernie Getz reference, please note it in the chat of the live stream. I knew, you know what? I was singing that Chris K. How do I keep them all straight? Would get it. New York subway vigilante. Kyle says this sounds like sleuths in the Dabbleverse. Yeah, exactly. This is the video. It's taken from some lady's car. Is this him? Notice he's not wearing his yellow hat, and he's got different bike shoes on. He's annoying that guy in the red truck behind him. And so the bike is very distinct. It's yellow. It's maize and blue. He's probably a shithead Michigan fan. So if any... Okay. This is what I mean. Like, I don't know where that is. But enough people are on this story that someone could theoretically, because of the landscape, figure out exactly where this is and assume that this is part of a daily ride. This guy, this asshole, has put himself in so much danger. Boy, he just looks like a dick, doesn't he? Oh, no. Check this out. The fact that she actually found him, the guy, that is a needle in a haystack type shit. How? How did you find him? I want to talk to this person who found him. Oh my God. This bike ride he's taking, it can't be far from his home. My guess is there's a clue there that tells me there is not a lot of distance from his two destinations here. Let's just assume he's going from work to home. But wherever he's going, there's not a lot of distance between the 2 points. And that's because he doesn't have a water bottle. If it were any amount of distance, he'd put a water bottle in that cage. Jesus. So that's all the information I have for you right now. I don't know if Mrs. Dad is going to have anything to say or dude. I wanted to talk to them both. With the, hey, well, what are we going to talk about? He's like, well, this is a huge fucking story. So I think she might be in the mindset of, boy, what could possibly be so interesting? Yeah, there's a lot interesting here. Kenny says, I kind of wish that red truck had swerved into him. Oh, I absolutely wish that. Jeremy says, I'm a trucker for a living, and I can confirm that everyone who drives a truck is an asshole. Okay. Jeremy says he looks like he takes himself too seriously. I don't know. Lard Armstrong, he's referred to. Bob is 39. He got the Bernard Goetz reference. Let's see. David remembers Bernard Goetz. Patrick was furious. I remember some of his comments. He says, I kind of hope a violent criminal gets a hold of this guy. Yeah, at the end of the day, let's take a look at this. This guy is, though a hothead, probably has kids. So at some point, everybody's temper is going to calm down. And I think that if this asshole gets busted, and I think he is. I think he's going to be charged with assault. If he hasn't already, I don't think it'll be a felony, probably a little misdemeanor, no biggie. But I think the key here is, do we all agree? I mean, right now we're all hot and bothered. But let's say for this discussion, he's got a wife and kids. Now, we can only assume that life for them is kind of fucked up, but maybe not. Maybe he's a great dad. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Do we think it's a good idea? Like, would it be a good thing or a bad thing if he lost his job over this? Because whatever he does for a living, let's say he works at Arby's selling roast beef for too high of a price. And they say, yeah, the word's gotten out that you work at Arby's. You're a brand representative in everything you do, and that's it. You're out. Chris suggests it's a cop. Wow. Now that would be something. We got to find out more information. So, can you imagine if he is a cop and there's like a cover-up involved? Like the PBA delivers a check over to mom and dad saying, yeah, it's $100,000. Kent dropped the E at a U, says he's not a cop because the dad who got smacked wasn't black. That's a great joke. And then Patrick says, yes, and if he is an Arby's employee, he'll be out of a job soon because nobody can afford roast beef. Trump told us about that. All right, so that's all I got on Kent Trail's asshole. Do you guys think that I should send another message to mom and say, is there any way we can chat? Or should I just leave it alone? My gut tells me don't say anything anymore. Because I don't want him to think like I'm some type of, like I'm just looking for gossip. But I am actually looking for gossip. I just don't want to look like I'm looking for gossip, you know? Like, I've already asked. If they reach out to me, then they reach out to me. If they don't, fine. And that's what Chris D., how can I keep them all straight, says the same thing. If they reply, then great. If not, then I'd leave them be. Okay, it's confirmed. Everybody is saying the same thing. Jeremy says, follow that gut. I wouldn't want to be pressured. Yeah, I'm not going to bother those people anymore. If they do, then you'll know it's fucking the best ever because they came back to me and said, hey, we think we want to talk. All right. And maybe they will. This is the type of thing where that type of stressful thing, and it is trauma. It's traumatic. It's all that what that fucking guy went through. His kid was so upset. His kid got his head conked like a couple of coconuts with dad because of that guy. Yeah, that is fucking horrible. At the end of the day, whoever wants to see their kids in any type of distress. And I just hope that they can put that behind them, and this guy will be punished accordingly to the fullest extent of the law and the internet. But I just couldn't believe that lady got a video. Rebecca says you could contact her and say, hey, just reaching out again. The ball's in your court if you want to talk. You see that? Just saying that, me voicing that, it feels weird. Jimmy says Linda will get all the info. Speaking of Jimmy, tonight we will ask you questions about the big date. If you already have that information in your brain, don't reveal any of it because we all want to find out what went down on the big date. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was last night. It was a Wednesday night little go and hang out for a cup of coffee. All right. There's a new person here. I don't know who that is. Minister Polovic something. Says, sup, man. What's your opinion on women? I love women. Jimmy says the date is tonight. Well, then we'll probably miss you. Okay? So that's okay. Then we'll find out about it in a show further down the road. Well, you say 6 p.m. So, yeah, maybe if it goes like only an hour and a half, then you check in. That's if it goes like if it finishes up before like 8:25, then what you need to do is join us. Chris D, how do I keep them all straight? Says when you go for bathroom breaks, tune into the Zoom and give us updates. Like if you go for a bathroom break, but your wiener is stiff because she's giving you some serious signs that she wants to bone, you can put your stiff wiener on the Zoom. And then if it's soft, that means that, you know, it's a real bummer. Don't do any of those things. We don't want to see your old, decrepit penis. All right. You're probably wondering about what happened yesterday when I walked into my physical therapist wearing my free dad hug shirt. Well, I walked in, and dudes, this is what happened. The dude, this is very, very quick, saw the shirt, and he goes, hey, and I could see him actually look down like I just did. Hey, and he had a look on his face like, this face spoke to me, and it said, oh, shit, he was serious. And so I said, you didn't think I really had this shirt, did you? And he goes, no, I thought you were kidding. I go, no, I do. I'm not. And I was grinning like I am now. So softening the moment, if you will. And I think one of you, it might have been Chris K. How do I keep them all straight? Who said he had, because Chris K had said, all you need to do is wear the shirt. And it'll fix everything. Because if you don't know, I'm laying there, and he said, this is the last meeting. He goes, so what are you doing this week? I go, I'm thinking about going to the Pride Festival. He goes, Eric. Like he was disgusted with me. And the chick starts laughing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then he shows me some ridiculous meme of a horrible looking transgender chick. And it's typical. And I think he thinks that I'm just fucking with him. Like I really am just Like we're on the same page, but we're not. I was serious. Like, well, I think we're going to the Pride Festival. Eat from the food trucks, hang out with people, watch some gross drag queens. All right, great. And by the way, everyone's like, oh my God, you're a homophobe because you said drag queens are gross. No, look, I want you to understand something. That has nothing to do with it. Drag queens are gross because they look ridiculous. And they'll tell you that they look ridiculous. Anyway, there was some guy on Reddit trying to pick a fight with me. I was like, yeah, shut the fuck up. You know what the fuck you're talking about. So I don't think that dude knew that I was an ally, which is the term that you use for people who are sympathetic to gay people, which is me. And so then at the time I said, well, yeah, I have a shirt that says free dad hugs. And he laughed again in my face. I walk in 2 days later, or how many days it was, 4 days later, with my free dad hug shirt. And this happens. He's like, Chris writes, uh-oh, that's when his asshole puckers up. And he goes, you really do have that shirt? I go, yep. Yeah, I do. And I'm smiling. And I go, I really am going to the Pride Festival. My daughter's gay, and you know, I've kind of changed my view in the last few years. And this dude felt like such a cock. It was at that moment that he's like, oh boy. And he just talked himself into it. I was like, so yeah, this isn't great. He felt so bad. And he goes, boy, egg on my face. This is awful. He just realized, you know, I mean, I've had moments like that myself. So it ends there to me. It ends there, right, with the realization that, oh no. Lesson learned. I go, look, I know. I know you feel bad about everything, about all that. He goes, yes. I go, well, I understand. He goes, I'm so sorry. And I said, no problem. This is part of it, you know? This is part of one at a time. Humanity understands that the world is changing. The cultural landscape, one person at a time, is shifting. And over time, less people hate, less people understand that there's a human being behind all of that. And hey, I go, look, I can see on your face, I understand, and yes, you're forgiven. No big deal. You learned, right? He goes, you're damn right I did. Lady was involved. We're all on the same page. And it's good. David says he owned the mistake. Stevie says, I'm going to Grand Haven Pride on Saturday, too. I hope Bender is there. Becky says, I'm so happy this interaction went well. It's a learning opportunity. Kenny writes, I think my view has changed dramatically over the last 5 to 10 years, similar to you. Because the thought of anybody feeling unloved or unwanted or rejected for any reason, especially in their own family, man, that's just awful. I kind of want to get one of those shirts and go make myself available for free dad hugs as well. Oh, and people would love that. The fluffy factor would put it off the charts. Jimmy writes, then he kicked you out. Get out of here. So I'm a little bit disappointed, though, because I think my plans are changing in front of me. Because the Queen of the Forest said, we have open houses to go to Saturday. I'm like, duh. What? Yes, so-and-so, so-and-so. It's like a job, okay? when it comes to open houses on Saturday, we have 4. 4. So that's a lot of money, you know? Even if you go cheap and give them like $25, that's a lot of money, but that never happens. Diana always gives $100. I'm like, $100? I hardly know the fuck this kid is. It's fine. It's fine. They did the same for our kids. It's like, well, what's the fucking point? They give us 100. We give them 100. You know, what if they have 8 kids? What if they give us 100 for each of ours, but they have 8 kids? That's it. They're netting $500. So I won't eat at all Friday. I won't have food. Saturday, you have the 11 a.m. arrival. You'll have your brunch. And then you have the 1 p.m., the late brunch. You have the 3:30 p.m. arrival. The drunch, or the, wait a minute. Yeah. Dunch. It'd be dinner and lunch, or dinner. And then you have the 6 p.m. dinner. Chris, how do I keep him straight? Says, similar to the drive-through pay it forward debate. Oh, yeah, I hate that shit. Adam writes, I had a childhood friend who passed from AIDS complications last fall. He and his family never reconciled. Oh, no. Oh, my God. I just had a nice talk with my beloved Madison. And out of the blue, she's like, you know, Dad and Mom and everybody, she wrote it to the whole family, everyone just accepts me. I'm so lucky. Not everybody has this. I'm so lucky. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's cool. All right. I just feel bad for people who aren't so lucky. You know, I mean, that's horrible. I think my brain right now that is not wrapped around having a transgender child. I think it, there's different levels of intensity. If you have a daughter and the daughter says, hey, I'm gay, like I'm a dad. Maybe it's different for Diana. I don't know. I cannot speak to that. But for me, I'm like, whatever. And then it's different levels of how much mind you need to wrap around it. For daughter who's gay, there's not much mind needed to wrap around it. You're like, whatever. You shrug that shit off, no big deal. And then it's a different level when you have like Madison's situation. She's dating a man that used to be a woman. But again, no problem. But it does require a little bit more, yeah, all right, okay. This is from my perspective only. Now, then there's one step above that. If I had a son, now I'm not experiencing this right now, so I'll say that I'm speaking out of school. If I had a son that said, hey, Dad, I'm gay. That's harder for me. I will wrap my mind around it, but I struggle. Here's what my struggle is. I struggle with thinking about my kid having sex with a dude. And I'm like, ugh. Well, and then the way I would talk myself through it would be like, well, yeah, but you would do that for any of your kids, regardless of who they're having sex with, right? Yeah. So this is just a conversation with me in my own head. Well, then don't think about it. Just know that they're happy. Okay, great. And then the final thing is, if I have a daughter or a son who changes gender, I think to me that requires the most mind power to wrap my mind around it. Now, I'm 100% confident I would and be accepting of it and not fuck up the child more with, but it would require like a lot more understanding, which I would. I do. But like I have friends who have a daughter who is becoming a dude, and I've talked with Ash's mother, and I've picked her brain. So how are you? I mean, and she's pretty good. She's pretty great about this. And I think ultimately, you just got to throw your fucking hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care and say, this is not up to me. I have no control of this, so shut the fuck up. Let them figure it out. Okay? You are not at the wheel. I think that's really a struggle for some parents. And I think as I get older, I've really wrapped my mind around it. As soon as they get to that age when they're making their own decisions, get the fuck out of there. You let them figure it out. Your mom and dad afforded you the same damn thing. So you should afford it to your kids. I remember there was one point in time when I talked to my dad and I said to him, I go, Dad, I just proposed to Diana. I'm getting married. We're getting married. She said, yes, we're getting married. I had gotten off the phone with my mother, and Diana was on one line, and I was on the other, and we called my mom, and my mom said, oh, my God, that is so great. I love you for so much forever. Oh, Jesus, this is so fantastic. And I was actually worried that she wouldn't be thrilled with that. But she was so excited. And then I called my dad, and Diana's on the phone, and I go, Dad, we're getting married. And he gets annoyed, and he starts, this is not a good idea. He actually said, you should not do this. And then I hear, it's poor Diana. And she hangs up the fucking phone. I'm like, oh, I go, what the fuck are you doing? You will not, this is a bad idea. And he actually wanted me to go out and date other women. Like he wanted me to like sleep around in so many words. This is one of the only times I will tell you a story about my father and you will want to beat the shit out of him. So wait, how old was he when this happened? So I asked Diana to marry me in 1991. 91, so that is 01, 11, 20, 33 years ago. That would have made him 57. And so I got pissed at him, and I told him to go fuck himself, and hung up. We didn't talk for extended time. Nothing is said. Then years pass, and he cornered her. And he said, I am so sorry. I was so wrong, Guy. I made a mistake, Jack. That was a horrible thing to do. Tyler says the quote was, you need to sow your Armenian oats, Guy. Exactly. That was the first, that was like the, he tried to control the situation. You cannot control your fucking kids. You can't do that shit. I gave that up a long time ago. The only time that they're interested in talking to you with your opinion, okay, is if it's involving a car. That is the only time. It just happened to me the other day. When the car went kablooey, which I should probably get an update on that. Jackie's at work, so she's going to think because I'm calling her that there's something wrong, like somebody died.
Hello.
Everything's okay, and I'm podcasting.
Okay.
What is going on with your car?
Oh, nothing. It went away.
What do you mean the light went away?
It went away. It's not there anymore.
You're not going to get checked?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Should I still?
I don't know. Probably not. I wouldn't.
I don't know. I think I don't really know what happened because when I was at the Y and then I got out from working out And I turned my car on. It was like every single light was on, like the battery light, the brake check light, and then the engine light. And I turned the car off and then turned it back on. And it was
just the check engine light.
Yeah. And then I drove it home, and then the next morning it was gone.
And there's no problem with driving it. Everything's behaving the way it should.
Yeah.
Okay, don't even worry about it. Are you kidding me? No, the car's what? How old's that car? Like 10 years old?
It's almost 10 years old.
Doesn't it have nearly 200,000 miles on it?
It's probably like 160.
Eddie, worry about it.
Time for a new car.
Yeah, give me that one back and buy your own.
No, how about you give me Mom's and then you can have mine.
Goodbye.
Okay.
I found something out that I shouldn't have about her today. Wait, one more question for her. I need a setup for this.
What?
I have one more question.
Okay.
How many operations on your knees have you had?
On the one knee, 5.
And the other one?
1.
Both ACLs were originally destroyed.
Yes.
And then the one that has the 5, why was there 5?
Well,
Because you blew out the one, it was repaired, and you blew it out again.
yeah. So on the left knee, I tore the ACL, and then 6 months later, it wasn't straightening all the way. Maybe it wasn't 6 months, probably like 3 months. It wouldn't straighten all the way, so they had to go back in and clear out a bunch of scar tissue. And then that summer, when I started playing again or exercising again, it wasn't working properly, so we got it checked and found out that the graft failed. So I had to redo the ACL surgery, and then I don't know if it was a year, 6 months, whatever. The meniscus was torn, so I had to go in and fix the meniscus, and then found out the graft failed again during that surgery. So then we had to have another surgery.
Okay.
For the ACL. So 3 ACL surgeries, a meniscus, and a scar tissue.
So it wasn't like it was repaired and then you injured it again. It was all it was complications because of failure with the grafts.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
both. I mean, it was the graft failure, and then I was playing again, which I probably hurt it doing that. But
Okay, so 5 on the one knee, and then the other one was also blown out and it was repaired, and you've had no other complications.
right, yeah, that was in high school.
True or false? The orthopedic who did all of this, great doctor.
Yeah, he's the best.
His suggestion to you was, don't play.
I don't remember that.
Okay,
That's
now
what Justin says.
you
but
lied. You just lied to me because we've had that conversation.
I genuinely don't. I don't remember if he actually said that. because was out of it.
I actually asked him myself, and he said I
you
would not.
did?
Yes, and he said, "Oh," he just shakes his head. He's like, "Oh no, I would not." Oh no, because he mumbles. That doctor. Oh, I would not recommend it. So okay, and then so fast forward to today. I sent you a text, and what did that text say that I sent you today?
You asked if I was playing again.
I asked you if you're playing soccer again.
Yes.
And then you called me and you said, how did you know? Because you didn't want me to know.
I don't know. I wasn't going to say anything.
Of course. Because you know I'm going to look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
So I found out.
I don't know.
You know how on Venmo you can creep on people and see what they're spending their money on?
Yeah.
I know you paid Marsh. It said, you wrote in the notes, soccer.
I should have wrote something else.
Yeah, you dummy. I saw
I
that.
didn't think you were creeping on that.
I did. I do that all the time.
Oh, you do? You
To
weirdo.
everybody. Well, it's there. Why is that weird? It's there.
I don't know. I just don't go scrolling, I guess.
Oh, I do. I see what everybody's spending their money on. It's great. So you
Oh, you're
you
funny.
spend money on soccer, and
Yes.
so now, okay, I'm gonna tell your mother.
I'm sure she already knows. Well, she knows I played like a couple weeks ago, like a
I
month
know
ago.
that,
I
and
was,
you scored.
I was subbing.
You scored 3 goals.
I did.
Was that just like men's league?
Was it what?
Was that just like a mixed league?
Yeah, like a co-ed league.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for fun.
Do you
I don't
know?
I do body combat like every single day, and we're doing like jumps and
Yeah, but are you
landing and
traversing?
stuff.
Are you going side to side?
Not really.
Okay, that's soccer. Soccer's side to side. Ding dong. Planting.
I don't know. We jump up in the air and land.
Straight
so I feel
up.
like that-
Straight
Yeah,
up.
but
Soccer's
still.
1 billion. Soccer's the most intense. You're on the ground running as fast as you can, planting and cutting.
Maybe I'll text Dr. Healy.
Do you know who Chris Denham is?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're friends on Facebook.
He runs Rangers.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever actually like met him, but we are friends on Facebook.
All right, I'm disgusted with this conversation.
Well, you'll have to come watch me play.
No. We got to
That
race
is-
again. We got to race again.
Oh God, I think I'm very slow.
Because your knees or because of your fitness level?
No, my fitness level is great, but like I just don't dead on sprint anymore. So
I don't think I'm much faster. I think I'm 10
Yeah.
times slower.
I'll probably beat you then.
No, you will. It's bad.
If you would come to combat, you would be in great shape.
I can't do that. My knee, I can't do any type of impact. None.
You can take modifications.
Goodbye.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Mom probably does know. Mom probably encouraged her. No one tells me anything around here. Tim says Jackie will beat the old man podcaster. I used to be fast as shit. Rick suggests she needs to walk backwards. I would do walking backwards advice over chiropractor advice because I've done the walking backwards. It has a positive effect. All right. Boy, we're seriously, I've been going for 1 hour and it feels like I've been talking to you for 5 minutes. This podcast is actually getting easier to do. I have more radio news. The king of all poverty media, Eric Zane, is continuing his domination. There has been one change in plans. I was supposed to start on Big 101.3 on middays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is now afternoon drive, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Arthur Penhallow shift on Big 101.3 here in Grand Rapids. Things keep expanding, just like the universe. I am continuing my takeover of my long return back to prominence in the piecemeal style like I like to do. Well, it's not like I like to do it. It's the only way I can do it, frankly. Upon being fired January 4, 2019, I've been slowly but surely building back to the level that I am at right now. Started with talking into a cell phone to do this podcast. Graduated to reasonably normal equipment, doing the podcast every single day as much as I could, the same as I have been. When I started podcasting, I'd do the show for 15 or 20 minutes if I was lucky. Over time, I figured my way through it as to how I should present it, the things that I'm good at, the things that I'm not good at, and then continue to go. I figured out how to sell it out of the trunk of my car. Actually, I take it back. The first person who approached me in this incarnation of the podcast was Big Dick Donnie Veltman. And then I believe Rick, I can't remember if Rick from TC Paintball called me. I think he did, about this incarnation of the podcast. And then, let's see, who were my first sponsors? Henry Steffes, Rick, Big Dick Donnie. Shortly thereafter, Megan, Joe Martinez. Big Dick Donnie went belly up and is now hiding from Michael Rappaport. Henry said, nope, thanks, but we're gonna pull up stakes. He's still working today. Nice guy, really nice guy, but he just moved on. And then, of course, still going with those original three of Joe Martinez, Megan, and Rick. So that's fantastic. So while that's all going on, over time, I make friends with the Coins up north. 4 years of doing the Insane Asylum for free at night, pre-recorded, Sunday, midnight to 2 a.m. While that happens, I got hired by iHeart on the weekends. And then, after about a year of that, they fired me at iHeart on Big 101. Actually, I started on, it was then known as The Brew. And then they fired me. And then the station changed formats to 101.3. And then they called me back like a few months later and said, hey, we want to hire you back. And I'm like, okay, why'd you even fucking fire me? They were paying me $12 an hour. I think they saved like $100. Brought me back. And I'm like, all right. So I got the Insane Asylum at night. I was working for free. Again, working for free just because I like doing it. And I would take the Insane Asylum and publish it on Patreon. Tophus says iHeart can fuck off. I disagree. iHeart has been very good to me. They have been nothing but helpful. Time after time, I would fill in on iHeart Grand Rapids in various capacities when they needed me. I'd fill in on the Huge Show. I'd fill in on Wood Radio. You know, just doing whatever I can to keep my name out there. Hockey stays. Keep doing basketball. All that stuff. The years pass. 4 years of Insane Asylum. The Coins reach out to me and they say, you should be our morning guy. March 18th of this year, I started doing mornings from right here. It's been going great. Then the other day, my phone rings again. It's Dave Taft from iHeart. EZ. How about Monday through Friday on Big 101.3? I go, fuck yes, let's do it. Why not? So that starts Monday. So you got my morning show, which is live. You've got the podcast. You've got who are these broadcasters? And then afternoon radio. Fuck yes. All right. This is what I had said to you that I want to do, that I wanted to happen. Build the podcast and just wait. And I did. I just kept waiting for somebody to say, hey, we might need you. And it worked. It worked. So now I'm doing exactly what I set out to do. Podcasting and radio. Easy. When you were doing radio, did you not podcast? When I started working for Cumulus, I said, because I had done 30 days worth of shows podcasting. That's where Rick was on, those video podcasts. And I said, hey, I want to keep doing that. They said, no, you can't. And I'm like, okay. And deep down, I'm like, why not? Why the fuck wouldn't you want me to do that? But yeah, that's now doing it like this. Every time, like when the coins came, said, hey, we want you to do the Insane Asylum mornings on Northern Michigan's Q100. I said, all right, I'm still doing my podcast. That was the story where Sweet Cheryl, who is the owner, they hired me. Her husband, Jerry, knows full well what I do here. Technically, he's the number 2. The number 1 is Cheryl. Oh, yeah, do the show easy. Here, take this sign and put it behind you. It says Q100, so your podcast audience knows where they can catch you in the morning. I'm like, fuck yes, all right. I started doing the show. And then one day, Cheryl wakes up, and she turns on the podcast. And I think I was telling somebody to suck my dick or something like that. Or, yeah, go fuck yourself. Trump's a whore. I hate that asshole son of a bitch or something like that. And not that she likes Trump, but she's like, woo. There's the sign. They go, hey, sounding great. Oh, my God. Everything's awesome. We're getting so many compliments about you. Jesus Christ. Our online listening is through the roof. People from all corners of the globe, they're checking in. They're saying, man, hey, I'm listening here in Laos. That show kicks ass. We love that guy. It's fucking great. We're making money hand over fist. Everything's awesome. I go, that's great. I knew it all along. It'd be awesome. Fuck yes. She goes, hey, can you take our sign down? And I'm like, what? The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, just, why? Well, you said cock. I said cock. So who gives a fuck if I said cock? Yeah, just, let you take the sign down. Okay. So then I got butthurt. Like a day goes by. I call and I go, hey, so are we on the same page? Oh, yeah, it's cool. What you do in your free time is fine. I go, let me ask you. Prior to hiring me, had you ever listened to my podcast? She goes, no, not a bit of it. I had no idea. I go, oh, my God. Okay. I get you. No problem, ma'am. We're good. She goes, yeah. And then Dad, or Jerry, your husband, he goes, well, you can mention the podcast. I don't want to. I don't like that type of cross-pollination because you're right. The radio audience is Eric Zane-Tunian. It's not Eric Zane. It's different. And if they find out about it, they find out about it. But I don't like the idea of the audience in that medium where they're used to this suddenly being, that would be quite abrupt and jarring, I think, if they are used to radio Eric Zane and then they check this shit out and yeah, you know how it is. This is it doesn't get much worse when it comes to language, I don't think. I don't know. I like to fancy myself as someone who's willing to say ridiculous things that are full of profanity, but always for the intent of making you laugh or make you go, oh, because it's hilariously gross. But I don't like to think of myself as like overly sexual. I will say sexual things, but in a stupid way to make you go, what? Like a dick in the ass joke is hilarious, but I'm not like being graphic with it. You know what I mean? There's a fine, because I'm embarrassed by that. I ultimately base it on what would my kids laugh at. And I have very rarely, but once in a while, I will play things for my kids. Like I played the Harrison Butker rant to my daughter because when Harrison Butker, when that story was out, she didn't know who that fucker was. And she goes, hey, this is Madison, have you heard about Harrison Butker? I go, yeah. She goes, he's an asshole. I go, oh, wait till you hear what I said about that fucker. And so, I played that for her. Tyler says, you do talk about eating ass pretty frequently, Easy. That is true. I'm not saying it's devoid of it. There will be the occasional mention of ass eating. That does happen. But I'd like to think that it's funny. Funny, or you go, oh, like a reaction. Again, I'm always looking for a reaction. You don't have a reaction, you're dead in the water. Every sentence must have possibility of some type of impact. I want your brain to look like the surface of the moon at the end of the show. Tophus writes, you fisted a turd. You get shit done. Well, that was actually the Queen of the Forest who put her hands into the RV toilet the other day. What a story that was. God damn. Just got a text from Pooh Bear. I had to come up to bed. Darla was screaming at me. It would not shut up. She is now asleep. Yeah, we have that moment around here from time to time where if the dog gets cranky, she's like a baby that starts getting fussy. And you can be minding your own business downstairs, like reading a book or something. She's going to walk up and start screaming at you. And she won't just lay in your lap and go to sleep. You have to go upstairs and go to bed with her. Fucking ridiculous. Tell you what, I love doing the show knowing that Pooh Bear is here. It's one of my favorite security blankets of all time. It just, everything flows better. All right. I have really, really been on an amazing roll to start this show. And it's like almost done. We have like a half hour left in it. So I know that the folks on Facebook, X, and YouTube, they're like, easy, just let us watch the rest of it. No. Fuck you. Go to Twitch like the rest of us. Download the Twitch app and then search Eric Zane Live, and there it is. Quit being an asshole and avoiding Twitch. You can also go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Join on Patreon, totally different platform, today so you can check out Who Are These Steve and Kyles. You can sign up for 7 days free. All the details are there. I don't want to give it right now. You'll figure it out. Thank you for being here, though. Oh, if you want to email me, send an email on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. First 90 minutes of the show, I should say Facebook and Twitch are brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. X, brought to you by Blue Frost IT. Thank you to you. And follow me on those platforms as well as YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to rattle off some sponsors right now. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, don't you dare fast forward through this shit. If you do, you're contributing to the ending of the free podcast, where it would be no more. Yes, things are going good right now. But if I lose my sponsorships, the free podcast is quickly out of business. So as always, do not skip the ads. And please support the sponsors when you are in need of them. The need may be brought forth because of me describing to you how much you need them. That happens because I'm very convincing when talking about my sponsors. Some would say I'm the best at it. In fact, I'll just say right now, no one is better at marketing his sponsors than your old pal EZ. I am the greatest salesman in the world. I make Og Mandino look like a pile of shit. And I'm going to say, no one will get the Og Mandino reference of the greatest salesman in the world. If you know it, leave it in the chat. You cannot look it up. That won't score you any points. Does anyone get that reference? I'm going to tell a story about Og Mandino after these ads. And it's a great story. I was face to face with Og Mandino. His first name's Og. O-G. Mandino. Sounds like a porn star. Starring Og Mandino. Frank Fuss is the insurance salesman on record for the Eric Zane Show podcast. All you need to remember, you don't even need to remember his name. Just remember buyinsurancehere.com. If you are unemployed, in between jobs, or maybe your boss does not offer insurance, you can get your health care through healthcare.gov. Now, anybody can go there and take their time to fill out the all the necessary questions that are asked of you online, but it's better when Frank does it for you. Yeah, Frank will take care of all those things as a licensed independent insurance agent / broker. Frank will get you into the policy that you need to be in by the end of business today. Frank will get you all the insurance you need to have to make your family feel safe. And it doesn't cost you a dime. Frank works for free. Well, that's not true. He gets paid by the insurance companies. These insurance companies that are on healthcare.gov, they want you to take advantage of their policies. And it's a lot less than you think. In case you don't know, the healthcare.gov program, or Obamacare, is funded by taxpayers. Okay? All that big, bold, beautiful United States, we're richer than everybody money. Yeah, it funds our healthcare system. And they give each and every one of you a tax subsidy to pay for the premium. The premium, let's say it's $1,500 a month for that great insurance policy. You're like, I can't afford that. Well, they know that. So they're going to pay for most of it. You'll pay for your $300 or $400. And they're expecting that you will not reach the tax threshold to have to pay that back. Now, if you do have to pay that back at the end of the year. I'm going through that right now. But not every American has that. And ask Frank about that. He'll be explaining in more details how that works. But typically, the government pays for most of your premium. Frank had somebody who signed up, and he said, all right, you owe $60 a month for your health care. And she told this to a family member who called Frank and accused him of being a scam artist. And it was one of my listeners. And he had to talk him down off the ledge. Buyinsurancehere.com. Don't be an asshole and go without insurance. When it comes to getting a mortgage, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, 231-332-6505 from anywhere in the U.S. Go ahead and reach out to Mario at 231-332-6505. Number one in America for a reason. Every state in the union you can call, and you will be taken care of with your pre-approval. Start that process today to get into your home. 231-332-6505. I'm selling products on the Vouch store. Vouch.store/Eric Zane. If you want to check out my products, they're all there. Joe Martinez is the man. A&E Heating and Cooling at 616-516-8579. Again, when my message meets the need, that's when A&E Heating and Cooling typically comes into play. Now, it shouldn't be, because you should see Joe twice a year. Once for your AC tune-up, $79, and one for your furnace tune-up, $79. 616-516-8579 for A&E Heating and Cooling, where their slogan is Tu Madre es una puta. Two more, and then I'm done. They're racing at Berlin this weekend, berlinraceway.com. Buy tickets for $14 for you and the fam, and get ready for the fun and the action, the excitement of racing on the short track right here in West Michigan. Tickets will set you back $14 for the adults. 15 and under are free. That's great. You know, a lot of times they go, kids are free, 7 and under at any other place. Not at Berlin. 15 and under. 15 and under, you still get, I mean, you've got pubes at 15 and under. 15 and under free. Parking free. Bring in a cooler, 12 by 18 or smaller. You can bring in all your snacks and all your soft drinks. No glass, no alcohol. BerlinRaceway.com. Chris says if you skip the ads, you support Kent Trail's bike guy. Chris says next 30 minutes are ads. I got one more. Kenny asks, how's Benny doing lately? He's fine. He's doing great. A little plump. Last but not least, the immortal Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. ERVines.com. People say that's a great way to remember it. I go, I know. I came up with that all on my own. Because you don't want to be caught over-explaining how to find something. Most people are like, Irvine's, IR. ERVines.com. Number one in West Michigan for a reason. Top of the line car care for your vehicle and your family's vehicles. ERVines.com. Ask about a free loaner car while they work on your car. Nobody knows who Og Mandino is. Holy shit. I referenced it. The greatest salesman in the world. Here's Og. He's long since passed. That's the book. The greatest salesman in the world. I read that book. I read it several times. It's a fantastic book. If you read that book, you'll be able to sell anything to anyone. You can sell a drowning man a glass of water. There's a number of books also in that screenshot that you're looking at. The Choice, University of Success, A Better Way to Live. You're getting the idea. Og's a motivational speaker in business. I had all those books, every one of them. They were in a a case. They were all on paperback. I ended up burning them all. I burnt all of those books. Now in your brain, you're like, what the fuck? You're speaking positively about these books. You burnt them. I burned them, and then I went and again bought The Greatest Salesman in the World. After I calmed down, I purchased that book again. I still have it. And I still go back and read it from time to time. It's wonderful. It's only maybe 150 pages. It's not, you can read it in a day. Okay? His real name is Augustine Mendino. Everybody calls him Og. Let's back up to 1991. I'm working at Z93. I walk in, the afternoon guy, Tim Hartley, is there. Tim's still in radio to this day. Hey, Z, how are you? I'm fine, Tim. And over time, we get into a conversation. He goes, so, are you making enough money in radio? I go, oh, no, man, I'm making $5 an hour. And I was. I was working at McDonald's, going to school, living in Mount Pleasant with Pooh Bear. Well, and he starts explaining something to me. And by the time he got done explaining it to me, I'm like, oh, my God, this is incredible. What do I do? He goes, easy. By the way, Chris says from Amway. Now, I'm just seeing that comment before I continue the story. Can you give me the context of when you typed that? Where was I in my discussions? I want to know what you're recalling. Did I trigger something that made you think of it? Chris K. Chris Denham says, which Chris? I'm confused. Of course you are. How can I keep them straight? Chris says, when you burned the books, that was tipping him off. You are correct. This is an Amway story. God damn it. Tim Hartley is selling Amway. I've never heard of this. Tyler says, when you started talking about the burning of the books, it popped into my head as well. Because I've told this story in the past. But not like this. You haven't heard it like this. I don't know if you know this about me. Every day that I speak, I am much better than I was the day before. So these stories get more involved over time. And better. By the end of that discussion with Hartley, I'm ready. Let's go sell some fucking Amway and make some money. Now, without going too far down that disaster of how it works, just know it sucks. And for a period of time, you're going to be brainwashed, and everyone in your family's going to hate you. Network marketing is the biggest pile of shit ever. But there I was. I'm ready. And all my family's like, ugh. Fucking shit. Oh, my God. But before I came out of that haze and fog, I get a phone call from Tim Hartley on like a Wednesday night. Hey, we're going on a road trip. What? Huh? Yeah. There is a Amway revival at the hockey stadium in Asheville, North Carolina. Og Mandino speaking. I go, who the fuck is that? You don't know who Og Mandino is? Oh, my God. I go, well, I got to work at McDonald's, and I've got class, and I got life here. If you don't do this, you're going to be losing money. You'll be bankrupt in a month if you don't do this. All right. I call into work. I ain't coming in. I skip class for the rest of the week. I grab Pooh Bear. Tim Hartley shows up. We get in like a fucking Chevy Nova or some shit. We drive all night over the goddamn Smoky Mountains. We wind up in Asheville. I come out of the car. I'm looking around. What the fuck just happened? We wander into this hockey stadium, and it's a cult. 10,000 wackos screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering, and all these Amway pieces of shit brainwashing. Og Mandino comes out and goes, "Oh my God, I'm the greatest salesman in the world, and so are you." And oh my. Now, Mandino isn't selling. He's not an Amway guy. He's a motivational speaker who writes books. But Amway pays him $30,000 to go there. He speaks, then sells books to this guy. So I see Mandingo. That is the porn star. I see Mandino speak. I go, "Oh my God, this is incredible." And then Tim goes, "Yeah, you got to buy his books." I go, "I don't have any money." If you don't buy the books from Mandingo, you're going to lose money. You're going to be bankrupt in a month. All right, I'll do it. I got a Discover card. It's got an $800 limit. It's already maxed out, but I can call for the payphone and try to get a Discover card. Yeah, this is me, the Tune Man. Yeah, can I get a $400 increase in my credit? Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks. I've been paying the minimum payment for like 5 years straight. March over there. "Oh my God, it's Og Mandino. Holy shit, I'll suck your dick." Buy the books. I got my books. And Tim goes, "You need more support materials. What do you do when you're driving?" "I drive." "You should be listening to motivational tapes from other Diamond Direct salespeople who can tell you." "Oh, really? I don't know anything about it." "Yeah, it's these tapes." "Where do I get the tape?" "Right there." "Oh. It's $200. You're going to lose money if you don't get them." "Okay, I'll buy it, boss." I buy that shit. I walk out of there with, it's like, it's a plastic case, and you open them. You open it, and there's like tapes in it, in their little spot, molded plastic type of deal, and you pop it. "Oh, this is going to make me rich. I get to hear from so-and-so, Van so-and-so." I listen to it. I'm like, "Oh, great." At this point, nobody will talk to me in my family. Everybody hates my fucking guts. Then, one day, like a month later, I have no money, and I'm like, this is a goddamn scam. Fuck this shit. And I approached the people that I talked to, in addition to Hart, like, now I'm done being a pussy, and I'm out of the brainwashed. I'm not kidding you when I say brainwashed, by the way. It was a revival inside of that stadium. People go, "Oh, they did an altar call." There's a real religious angle to it. It's so fucked up. And I went, and when I realized what was going on, I threw it all in a goddamn burn pile and lit it all on fire. And that was the end of that. That was 1991. Then, in 2005, I'm shaking hands with my boss, named Dan DeVos, the guy who started it. I'm like, "Oh, thanks, boss. I love working for the hockey team. What you've done to be a billionaire is incredible. I love Amway. I I love it. All this time, I've been like, God, I should get my money back. I should, I think I did, though, because when I started doing hockey games, it was like $40 a game. And every year I would ask for a raise. And every year I would get it to a point where now, after so many years of doing this, and to be so ingrained with the hockey team, they actually said, you're making so much money to do PA. You're not supposed to earn more than players. We have to draw the line somewhere. You can't make more than players. So I feel that in 20 years that I've gotten it back. And that might be a job that is the most fun in the world. Okay? I have never grown tired of that job. I have never not been excited to do hockey games. So I think it worked out. And he's paying for it. He actually signs the check. That is the epilogue to the story. So, no, I'm not going to ask for the money back for the burned books and tapes. Just buyer beware. If someone says, hey, man, you want to make more money? Don't do it. Send them to me. Send them to me. Kenny writes, when I was 17, I helped someone operate spotlights and lights at a high school auditorium, and it was for Amway, and I could not believe how brainwashed all those people there seemed. It sounded ridiculous to me. You are correct. You're lucky you didn't get the vapors and become brainwashed yourself. Okay. Adam says, you make more money than the players. You have a hot tub. Today's asshole of the day. Yesterday, it was Fat Fuck Cyclist. I don't know who it's going to be today. It might be him again. What do you guys think? I have erased Fat Fuck Cyclist. And I'm sure who it's going to be. Today's asshole of the day is, drum roll please, Fat Fuck Cyclist. Congratulations. That might be a, until further notice, asshole of the day. My God. As usual, you have been an amazing audience. On Patreon today, I have an update in the ever-continuing saga of that fat asshole who was driving without his license, and then he was on this Black Kenny. And then, hey, no, turn yourself in. You're still driving. Oh, no. Hey, no, I had a license. And then everybody on the internet was saying, oh, no, we got to forgive this guy. He had his license. We owe him an apology. No, we don't. No, we don't, because that piece of shit got arrested again. I've got details on that. That'll be on the Patreon. Don't look it up yourself. We'll talk about it then. Patreon.com/Eric Zane is where you need to be. Sign up for free so you can take advantage of Big Fraud Thursday later on when we roast Steve and Kyle. Thanks for being part of the show. Till next time. Bob calls Black Kenny Blenny. I like that. Blenny. Till next time, have a good one, folks. Bob says nap. No, I'm not doing the nap today. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye.